In Sakura New Town, located in Japan, Keita watches the news with his friend Yukai, where they discover that several citizens have noticed a large UFO flying in the sky. After the report, the boy starts laughing and says that it's impossible for aliens to exist, but he is amused to imagine the possibility that they are being watched by a spaceship. Making fun of his friend, Whisper says that Keita should believe the news more, and when he hears this, he starts laughing. The boy claims that his partner is extremely dependent on the internet, as he learned everything he knows by searching online sites. While the pair argue in the apartment, the group Nia KB finish their big musical show, and thank all their fans, who scream their heads off. At that moment, the yukais scattered around the area saw a gigantic blue whale flying over the city, and before they could react, it let out a huge roar. Thanks to this, all the inhabitants of Sakura New Town are transformed into real humans, and Keita is shocked to notice that their appearance is much more detailed than usual. Trying to understand what has just happened, the pair look in the mirror, and while analyzing their new realistic looks, the young man hears his mother approaching the room. When he meets the woman, Keita is startled, and after talking, he asks her to leave his room, leaving his mother totally confused. Soon after, the young man's father arrives at the house, making him increasingly nervous about his family's new appearance. Keita then decides to find out what has happened to the town, and after saying goodbye to his parents, he goes outside, where he marvels at everything he sees around him. Excited, the young man runs through the streets of the city alongside his companion, at which point they are met by his other friend, called Jibanyan. In his panic, the creature ends up taking quite a tumble, and Whisper discovers that he has stumbled over a small gap in the sidewalk. After recovering, Jibanyan explains that his yukai friends are extremely frightened, as they seem to be the only ones who have noticed the sudden transformation of the world. When he hears this, Keita says that all the other human beings went on with their lives as normal, and wonders why he was able to see what the rest of the world could not. Trying to find an answer to the situation, Jibanyan theorizes that thanks to the large amount of time the young man spends around magical beings, he may have developed the mindset of a true yukai. However, Keita refuses to believe this, and when he is provoked by Whisper, he gets angry and throws his friend away, causing him to bounce wildly around the place. Soon afterwards, the boy says that he will solve this mystery on behalf of his grandfather and find out why his world has changed so suddenly. So Keita rushes off to meet her best friends so that they can investigate the situation together. When he arrives at Fumi's house, the young man prepares to tell her everything he's seen, but thanks to his strong feelings for the girl, he ends up getting nervous. For this reason, Keita gives up revealing what's going on, leaving his yukai friends at a loss. Believing that her friend may be trying to ask her out, Fumi asks him to calm down and tells him that they can arrange to meet at any time. The young woman then leaves for her class, and Keita decides to look for Kuma and Kanchi in the town's shopping center. After a few minutes of searching, the boy finds his friends in front of a toy machine, where they are excited to have finally picked up one of the most valuable products in the place. Now that he has the doll he wanted so much, Kuma prepares to leave, but Kanchi says he doesn't want to be left empty-handed and offers him a large sum of money to buy the object. Realizing that the pair are arguing more and more, Keita decides to leave, and talks to the yukais about who might be responsible for everything that is happening. Just then, Jibanyan sees Emi walking down the sidewalk and desperately runs after her, leaving his friends behind. The pair then return to the neighborhood, and on the way, Keita claims that the alteration of the world may be the fault of some creature, and uses his yukai watch inspect the surrounding area. Thanks to this, the young man meets a new yukai, who forces them to perform various dance moves with his powers. Furious, Keita orders him to explain what he has done to his world, but the little creature shows that he has no knowledge of what is going on, and that he is just dancing for fun. Now that they have a new friend, the boy decides to name him Koalanyan, and so that they can discover his origin, he uses his yukai watch to ask for Bakuroba's help. The creature quickly appears in front of the trio, but no matter how hard it tries to extract information from its target, it fails, as none of them can understand the yukai's language. Curious, Keita touches the creature's face, causing a magical pulse to be generated. Once again, the great whale lets out a mighty roar, and this brings the whole city back to its previous reality. Soon after, Fuyunian appears, and claims that this phenomenon is being generated by the powers of a yukai, and so that they can understand what they are going through. He sets off to find Lord Enma. After the magical superhero leaves, the trio meet Usapion, who arrives in his racing car. The yukai says that he is extremely frightened, because when he approached his friend Anaho, he realized that the young woman was creating something disturbing with her laboratory equipment. Keita then concludes that the realistic version of the city may end up amplifying part of their personalities, but before they can continue with their theories, the group is surprised by the giant whale. In a few seconds, the colossal creature launches its roar once again, causing the world to return to real life. Desperate, Usapion decides to flee the place, and at the same time, Jibanyan appears completely distraught, saying that Emi's personality has suddenly been altered. When they returned home, Keita introduced Koalanyan to his friend, and while they were getting to know each other, the Yukai decided to touch his companion's nose. The little one then performs his dance once again, causing the whale to let out another of its roars. Thanks to this, Keita discovers that Koalanyan's nose works as a reality-altering button, and on hearing this theory, Whisper gets excited and tries to repeat the transformation. However, the Yukai doesn't allow his companion to do this, making the ghost furious and causing him to pull his ears. When attacked, Koalanyan forces everyone to join in his dance, and Keita concludes that the creature functions as a reality check, allowing them to alter the appearance of the world at any time. So the group wanders around the city alongside the Yukai, using the colossal whale's powers to amuse themselves while observing the changes caused around them. Later, Keita and his friends try to understand why their world is being targeted by the giant whale's spells, but during their conversation, they are surprised by the creature. After returning to the normal world once again, Jibanyan claims to have seen that whale before, and takes the group to the address of a famous sweet store. Despite finding the place where he had seen the creature, the Yukai realizes that the place has now been transformed into a large hospital, and is devastated to learn that he will no longer be able to buy his sweets. Just then, Keita notices someone watching them from the top of the building, and decides to check it out to find out who the girl is. On the terrace, the boy approaches the young woman, and after questioning whether she is responsible for everything they are going through, he tells her that he doesn't like seeing his city changed over and over again. Upon hearing this, Konami reveals that she likes that world, and causes the great whale to roar again. Soon after, the girl begins to float around the site, and after wiping out the entire hospital building, she takes off leaping through the sky, while Keita and his friends fall into a pile of garbage. Quickly, the group tries to chase Konami through the streets of the city, and in order to stop her flying, the young man decides to enlist the help of Komamam, his giant yokai friend. Now that they are ready, Keita uses Koalanyan to alter reality once again, causing the girl to fall on top of the giant creature and land safely on the ground. The young woman then begins to cry, and so that they can understand what is happening, Bakuroba touches her face, allowing her to explore all her memories. Konami remembers that in the past, she was always passionate about ballet, and this made her practice her skills more and more, even allowing her to win major competitions. The problem is that one rainy day, the girl ended up being hit by a large truck, and after having her legs broken, she was told that she would never be able to dance again in her life. However, Konami never gave up on her dreams and did everything she could to change her reality to the point where she could use her legs again. Angry at having had her head invaded by Bakuroba, the girl throws the creature away and channels her power to conjure the magic whale in the real world. Soon after, Konami transforms into her ballerina costume and dances through the skies with her powers. Desperate, the Yukais run to try and stop the girl, but when they notice that Koalanyan is pointing in another direction, Keita decides to trust him and is chased by his companions. After a few minutes, the group arrives at the ballet school, where they meet the girl's former teacher. The woman explains that Konami was the best student she ever had, and that even after suffering a serious accident in her life, she never gave up on her great dream. Realizing that the girl doesn't seem to have bad intentions, Keita says that they need to rescue her, and in order to do so, he decides to call on the help of all his Yukai friends. In addition, the boy uses his magic watch so that he can call out to his 3 most powerful Yukai, who have different abilities. Now that they are reunited, Kyuubi and Robanyan circle the skies of the region in search of Konami, while Orochi jumps over the houses and buildings around the city. At the same time, Keita meets up with his group and together they ask all the other Yukais to find the girl as soon as possible. After a few minutes of searching, Orochi comes across Konami floating around the neighborhood, but as soon as he alerts the rest of the group, he is detected by the girl, who launches several blades of air in his direction. Soon after, the young magician conjures up a gigantic pair of shadowy wings, which are absorbed into her body and transform her into an evil villain. Now in her new form, Konami begins to launch her aerial attacks in the direction of the group, and Keita is startled by the sudden change in the girl's behavior. Trying to calm his friends, Fuyunyan explains that after losing her chance to become a great ballerina, the young woman was filled with hatred and darkness, causing her worlds to merge with the evil magic in her heart. Terrified, Keita asks what they have to do to reverse this, and the Yukai says that he knows exactly what has to be done, as he has received exact orders from Lord Enma a few hours ago. While paying a visit to the powerful Lord's palace, Fuyunyan was presented with the most powerful weapon in the world, the Enma sword, which can extract darkness from the hearts of its targets. The Yukai then claims that if his friend can hit the girl with the magic blade, she will be freed from her dark curse, allowing the world to finally go back to the way it was before. Keita then inserts Enma's metal into his new sword, causing it to transform into its final form. After preparing himself, the boy launches a powerful flaming slash towards Konami, who uses her shadow powers to reflect the attack. Despite this, the young woman is still hit by the blade of flame, which expels all the evil darkness from her body. However, this ends up making the situation even worse, causing a colossal dark whale to appear in the skies and unleash a powerful roar that blows the whole group away. Soon after, Konami continues to dance around the monster, and noticing what is happening, Robanyan runs up to Keita and reveals that both worlds are about to collapse. Outraged, the girl declares that she will not allow the Yukais to get in her way, and teams up with her giant whale, who conjures up a huge tsunami of dark water. Orochi then uses his ninja skills to reflect the attack, and after reuniting with his teammate, Kyubi asks his friends to stay safe while they fight the creature. The pair then set about attacking their opponent, unleashing several ranged attacks and hitting the monster several times. In the midst of the attacks, the dark whale disappears into a magical cloud, and when it reappears, it unleashes its deafening roar, causing reality to alter once again. Realizing that they will need more power to defeat their enemy, Kyubi and Orochi transform into their full-powered forms, but before they can react, they are easily devoured by the creature. Now that they will have to deal with this situation alone, Keita concludes that they will be at a disadvantage while in the real world, and uses Kolanyan's nose to revert their world back to normal. Wanting to help his group in the fight, Jaibanyan attacks the monster, but when she notices the presence of her enemy, Konami alters reality again, causing the Yukai to lose his powers. Desperate, he tries to punch the creature several times, but nothing seems to work, and the little one is thrown away at full speed. Despite this, the group doesn't give up, and after using Whisper as a trampoline, Jaibanyan jumps towards the monster. At the same time, Keita squeezes Kolanyan's nose, allowing the Yukai to unleash his main ability, hitting the creature with hundreds of powerful punches. The problem is that the attacks are still not enough to defeat the dark whale, and thanks to Konami's commands, it rises once again, altering reality with its roar. Soon afterwards, the creature attacks the group, and Bushinyan prepares to confront the monster alone, but before he can react, he is devoured. After this, the evil whale flies freely through the city, and after returning the world to its normal state, the group comes across the arrival of Komajiro, who has brought Keita a new weapon. The little creature explains that this is the Bazooka Yukai, an extremely powerful weapon capable of eliminating any threat, and reveals that he managed to acquire the object through an online shopping site. Without wasting any time, Keita inserts the magic watch into his new weapon, along with the medal of Marimilian, who reveals that he has brought on Arazumono as reinforcement. The boy then fires the magic missile towards the creature, creating a gigantic dome of stench and stunning the monster. Shortly afterwards, Keita performs the second bazooka attack, and when it comes into contact with the stinking smoke, the flaming shot generates a huge explosion, which blows them all away. After recovering, the group gathers in the smoke and realizes that the creature is still alive, but has turned into a great whirlpool of shadows. However, reality is altered once again, and soon afterwards, they are surprised by a terrifying meteor, which lands right in front of the citizens. At that moment, a new creature appears in front of the group, and while their enemies try to understand what they are seeing, Konami orders the humanoid whale to begin its attack. When it hears this, the monster shoots several bubbles from its mouth, causing the inhabitants to be transformed into fish. Frightened, Kolanyan begins to run away desperately, and so that they can return to their reality, Keita and his Yukais rush to rescue him. The group then ends up in the middle of an amusement park, but at that moment, they are surprised by the creature, which is getting bigger and bigger. Trying to help his friends, Robanyan fires his missiles at the monster, which effortlessly turns the explosives into fish. Immediately afterwards, Fuyunyan landed his magic punch on the whale's chest, which easily reflected the attack. Furious, Jaibanyan tries to hit his target with consecutive punches, but as they are in the real world, nothing seems to work, and the Yukai ends up taking a powerful punch. On the other side of the park, Usapion comes across several boxes of a toy battle tank, and claims that he can assemble the vehicle so that it has even greater firepower. The problem is that the Yukai doesn't have his usual speed in the real world, which makes the editing extremely slow. Meanwhile, the obscure whale continues to roam around the park, and after increasing its body size once again, it uses the roller coaster vehicles as nunchakus. At that moment, Komajiro and his companion manage to capture Koalanyan and pinch his nose, allowing the world to be fixed again. Seizing his chance, Usapion assembles the battle tank in just a few seconds, and then sets off in a fury at his enemy, firing at him repeatedly. After being hit by dozens of shots, the humanoid whale loses its balance, causing it to be thrown against one of the pillars and end up unconscious. Believing that they have won the battle, the group begins to celebrate, but at that moment, the creature gets up and launches its bubbles towards them, transforming the battle tank into a sea creature. At the same time, Koalanyan and Komajiro are hit by the attacks, and Komasan becomes desperate when he notices that his brother has just become a small fish. Soon afterwards, the macabre whale alters reality and increases its body size even more. Out of ideas, Usapion suggests that they use the mixture that Anaho had created, and Robanyan says that one of them should ingest it. After a few seconds of discussion, the robotic Yukai decides to take a chance, and upon consuming the compound, he goes completely mad. The robot then ends up swallowing part of his group, and soon afterwards, he begins a powerful transformation. Thanks to the combined powers of all the team members, they manage to become a new creature, called the Supreme Robanyan. With that, the Yukai takes to the skies, and after transforming into a combat aircraft, it fires its missiles towards the creature. Disgusted, Konami orders the monster to conjure its rain of bubbles, but the little ones are not intimidated and continue their attack, dodging each of the whale's projectiles. Soon after, the quartet of Yukai join forces to hit the creature with thousands of magical attacks, causing it to be eliminated in a huge explosion in the sky. In the morning, Keita wakes up in the middle of the amusement park, and as he looks around, he comes across all his magical friends, who have returned after the destruction of the dark whale. At the same time, the boy realizes that Konami is also alive, and decides to approach her to talk to her. Keita reveals that he knows about the girl's past, and says that she can still become an incredible dancer, as long as she makes an effort to recover in her physical rehabilitation. When she hears this, Konami is furious and tells him that even after dedicating her whole life to ballet, she was prevented from achieving her dream, so she decided that she no longer wanted to live in this cruel world. Keita then says that the young woman is not alone in dealing with her problems, as she has always had people by her side who have offered support and trusted in her ability. The boy also reveals that during his conversation with the ballet teacher, she revealed that Konami's situation was improving every day, and that in about 3 years' time, her pupil would be able to dance normally again. Emotional, the young woman admits that she was afraid of being abandoned if she failed, and Keita says that would never happen, as everyone around her is rooting for her recovery. At that moment, Konami remembers all the memorable moments she has had in her life as a dancer, and realizes that the only thing that was affecting her was her own mind. So all the Yukais gather around the girl, and together they set off towards the city hospital. When they arrive at the venue, Konami says that thanks to all the people who support her, her dream will live on, and that way she can become an incredible ballerina one day. Finally, the young woman apologizes for having brought all that chaos into Keita's world, but the boy admits that he had a lot of fun and enjoyed experiencing that reality. Relieved, Konami presses Koalanyan's nose one last time, and after holding him in her arms, the girl thanks him for everything her friend has done for her. Now that they are finally back in their reality, Jaibanyan is extremely excited, and rushes out to buy dozens of sweets in his favorite store at home. Keita continues to look at the photograph of what Fumi looked like in the other reality, and when he notices that the boy has fallen in love with another version of the girl, Whisper begins to make fun of him. However, when he looks at his friend, the young man notices that something has gone wrong, and the Yukai discovers that his face has been permanently altered into a human form, causing him to become terrified of his new appearance. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.